that's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
Peace and harmony. I forgot to turn the light on. Hold tight, people. Hold tight. Wash. Yeah, the migraine machine. There it is. Hi. See those bits there? If I just relax, if I just really relax, this happens. Right. Let me just try. Just saw something in here. People, this won't be very long, you'll be glad to hear. It's already 2:15 in the morning. I've got to go to Supa-Dupa and I've got to finish a story. Now, I know the OG scrubs, you lot. Let's give that a little. I'm going to give it a spray. This is lens cleaner. Hang on a minute. Let me cover my screen a little bit. It won't affect you, I don't think. Give it a little bit of that. That's quite nice, isn't it? It's like being invaded by lightgasms. The problem with doing things like this is 7 years' time, you've got to do it all again. Now, that's better, isn't it? You can see the water damage clearer. Excuse me. I told you every time the landlord, my landlord has just rented loads of properties and he sublets them. That's his business. He's making a fortune out of it. But the actual owner of the property is trying to sell it. Now, you see that water damage there? Look, you might be able to see more if I... That's just blatantly water damage. Look at this down here. Oh, you can't see that. Where else can you see it? Can you see it? See all that there by my coat there? Now, there's quite a lot of that about the place. It doesn't really affect my life or anything. It's not like a problem. And if I say to him, can you paint it? It just gets painted. Anyway, I just put a massive thumbprint right on my first time ever cleaner. Anyway, when he brings people around to buy the property, this property's fucked. They just keep there's water damage over there that they use this 2-part epoxy paint. I've got to go and get a hotel for the night because it uses butyl nitrate as part of the, it's much the same as amyl nitrate, which no one well. I had a mate paint his whole room using 2-part epoxy resin paint. He couldn't speak for months. He was like, he's never been right since. Anyway, when the bloke comes around trying to sell the property, I don't want him to sell it because then I'll get shunted out. I'm moving in with a missus probably before Christmas, but I'm not ready yet. And so I try and put them off. I tell them about all the music, but that's easy. I'm like, do you like live music? Because you get that 3 nights a week. Really nice, like a bit of everything, bit of country and western. Sometimes on Fridays you get techno going on till 2, 3 in the morning. Like, I know they don't want that in their house. And then I sort of say, and all that water damage, and I have to try and say it fast because the landlord can speak English just not very well. So I just I get it into I just sort of say all that water damage, they'll paint over that, and then you can't see it for about 6 months. So nothing to worry about really in the short term. You always just go, and I think he's getting on to me though. He's sussing me out. Now, I've just seen that this is available. Video backgrounds, leaves. Well, that would appear not to be there. Or does it take a bit of time? Why can't I see it? Apparently there's leaves. What about this background music? Hang on a minute. Why didn't I know anything about this? Should we have a bit of background music? Turn it down a bit. It's all right, isn't it? Is that too quiet? There's a few of them, but why haven't I got the leaves? What about tropical summer? Maybe I need a green screen or something, but that ain't tropical summer. Well, it is actually. I should really do this when I'm not streaming, I'm guessing. Maybe that's why it's not working. Anyway, okay, so listen, because I know the OG's coming in, I need you to do me a favour. Something weird has happened and quite nice for me, really. I don't want a literary agent. I've had literary agents. I don't need one. No one's offering to buy my book. And they won't either. But two separate agents, one who I was represented to by years ago, writing screenplays. Excuse me, and the other bloke I was just doing treatments and things. But they both contacted me. Excuse me, I'm dying here. They both contacted me. They've both been reading my Substack, and I saw them both sign up to it. And they both said, look, what one of your Substacks shall I use as an example? I just want to send one to a few people. And I said to them, I'm just finishing one. You know that letter to my dead dad? People who follow my Substack, link in the description, totally free. You can make a donation though using that, which is also on my Substack. Speaking of which, it looks like the grift has begun. Lartus has been a member for 42 months. You've been a member longer than that, but thanks anyway, Lartus. Machano could price your 2K all day long on that. Speaking of grifts, entropy link at the top of the chat, super chats down the bottom. And bear in mind, when a bloke's just done a 14-hour shift at work and he's streaming at 2:25 in the morning, it's usually because he's skin. Just relaxing. I'm just relaxing, Emma. Just relaxing. Oh, fucking hell, that hurts. I'll tell you something more interesting than relaxing. Oh, yeah. So, I wrote that letter to my dead dad. I'm going to do a series of them. I'm thinking 50, 60, and then I can release that as a book. Right, so there'll be 50 separate letters. What makes it interesting is not only have you got the individual ones that tell stories, but you're also getting the story of my relationship with my father. You're also getting the story of my upbringing. You're also getting the story about my mother and father. And, there's stories that will link them all. And in the second one, it develops a bit from the first one. And I'm begging you, I am begging you. How else do I do it? Look. When you get that email for that new one, I'm going to try and finish it tonight. That's why this won't be a long stream. I always say it. 3 hours later, I'll fall asleep. But give it a read. That's the main thing. I love it when people read my work. I don't want to be a famous writer. I don't want to be famous at all. I had a touch of it when I was a comedian, and it's awful. You sacrifice. You cannot be famous and normal. That's not a choice you get. If you want to be famous, it's quite easy to do. You organise fame. Rarely do people just achieve it. You have to organise it. There's ways of making it happen. And I went for it for a bit, but you don't get the luxury of being able to switch that off and then not being famous. That's not an option. I don't care about that. I don't write to make money, luckily. People reading my writing, that is really what I care about. So I said to both these agents, I said, listen, I'm just finishing one up now, and I would send those two. The first letter to my dead dad and the second one. So when you get that email, give it a read, leave a comment. Do you want me to lose it, Mr. Hill? Are people not feeling the music? I forgot I even had it on. Is it really loud your end? The pleasure's all yours, Glass, of course. John Palmer gives me probably the best advice. Just write about skag adventures and birds. Well, the novel is pretty much just thousands of those. With, yeah. It's a weird time, isn't it? 55 people's a weird time. Packer ain't in. That's probably what's done it. I think he's down the boozer on a Wednesday, isn't he? What's the time in the UK? Hello, Rise of the Right. Long time no see, son. I hope you're well. Leaves alone's good. Colonel Custer's saying no to the music. All right, it only takes one person to say no. I didn't even know you could do it. I just tried it out tonight. How do I stop it? Pause. There you go. Music has stopped. You don't want this one? Oh, you can add your own music, though. That might be something for later. Later. Right. What did I want to talk about? I had something that I wanted. What a week. What a week then. Steve Bannon, a political powerhouse, a political genius. I rate Steve Bannon. Now, if you remember Steve Bannon, put it like this. Without Bannon, Trump never won the presidency. That's almost certain. If without Bannon, Trump didn't become president last time. Lord knows why he got shot of him, but they had a little falling out or something. But Bannon still does a channel called The War Room. He went to prison on Monday for 4 months, right? Steve Bannon is currently in Nick in a federal prison in America. Now, I've just heard that old Giuliani has lost his New York law license after backing Trump's false election lark. Look at them all digging it out because Trump won that thing the other day. Anyway, so Bannon's in prison because he refused to hand over documents that he was subpoenaed. I said peanut. That he was subpoenaed to hand over, and he disagreed with it, and he said no. So Merrick Garland, who I despise as a person, when you see the likes of Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, John Kennedy, when they take on Merrick Garland, you see a man full of fear. Hello, Anglo. Nice to see you. Hello, baby reindeers, evil diddler. Emma G. Packer. If you're up for, I don't know if you're in the booze or if you're not up for it. If you're up for it, your missus has got the address, but maybe you want to sit it out. It's your call, as always. Yeah. Don't talk to Emma like that. Hello, LC350. Picking locks like a beagle. Anyway, so Bannon refused to hand over these docs. When you see those Republicans ripping into Merrick Garland, the Attorney General is a shaking, quivering wreck of a man who's just carrying a work life of lies, deceit, backstabbing and deception, and you know it. You can just see it. You know, you can tell he's just been a bullshitter for his whole career. You know, and Lord knows who's pulling his strings, but he's scared of them as well. He's a scared little man who somehow ended up the Attorney General. Well, those two dependent clauses are connected. Because he's a scared little man, he ended up the Attorney General, so the likes of Obama can tell him what to do. He was also subpoenaed. Merrick Garland was also subpoenaed to hand over some documents, but he didn't do it either, same as Steve Bannon. But Merrick Garland decided not to investigate himself, so he's not in prison. What the fuck? What the F is going on with that? Absolute madness. Lara says, moving in with the missus after the book is published. Yeah. Yeah. You get it. Plenty of time alone left. Watch this. It's magic. All right. How are you?
I'm knackered.
I am crane cracker myself, son. I tell you that. Burning the candle at... No, not burning the candle at both. Overdoing it, though. Why are you knackered? Hard day at work?
Yeah, well, I had Friday and Monday off, but I've had to cut a big edge in my back garden and chop down trees. So I've been chopping down trees on yesterday.
With
So I went back to work
power
knackered.
tools or elbow
Hey?
grease?
No,
Electronic
power tools. That was ridiculous. Power tools.
What electronic power tools? Chainsaws?
Yeah, chainsaw, edge trimmers. I had some manual loppers.
Did
But
you
I've
go?
got such a.
Did you cut a V? Did you cut a V? Did you do it properly, or are they tiny little trees?
No, they're only like shit pipes, like 6 inches.
You give it the large that you've been like. You pretty much told us you were a lumberjack, and it turns out.
Yeah, I was up there. A check shirt, boots with spikes in the toes. All that malarkey.
Tool belt.
Yeah, no, I did put some gloves on.
Tool belt.
No.
Light leather.
I've got a tool belt, but it's at work.
Is it suede?
It is.
Yeah, go on, son.
It is. It's suede, and it's about.
Go on, son. High five.
About 30-year-old, so it's quite grubby, and all the studs are rusty.
That's how you want it, though, isn't it? If you could buy it like that, you would. You know.
I've got a couple of old metal toolboxes as well that you can't buy that patina.
Well, look at. I'm going to get my torch. I think my girlfriend might have nicked it actually and taken it to the province, or left it out on the fucking washing machine. Oh no, it is. I'm going to get my torch so that I can show you my lovely. Look at those 2 suitcases. Hang on. Properly old ones for the trains, you see. Yeah.
You got Paddington in your house somewhere, haven't you?
There's a lot of little teddy bears run around here at night. Actually, it's a funny affair. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they're eating. But oi, Packer, I wrote to the people that make the yogurts I buy yesterday. I emailed them and told them their standards are dropping, and I actually done that.
Have you turned into one of those? Are you one of those people? I would like to suggest.
Yeah. I said a couple of years ago I was buying 4 or 5 of those yogurts a week. I said out of the last 15 I've bought, only one of them was smooth and creamy that you say on the front of the pot. The rest of them chalky, powdery, virtually unedible. Anglo-Saxon. Wait a second, Packer. Anglo has given me a £5 note. He says 42 live streamed Belfast Battle of the Somme Remembrance March, Chris. It was excellent. I'll have to check that out. I don't know why I don't get any. I don't know if I'm subscribed. I'm sure I must be subscribed to 42. I didn't get a notification though.
I missed that. I did go on 42 Saturday night, but I was a little bit drunk.
Well, look at that though. Look, Lars and 42, and then Anglo and 42. Thank you, Anglo, for that. Much appreciated. Yeah, I've complained about the yogurts, and the thing is, it's just quality control. And I said to them, if you carry on like this, I said, I know what you're doing because I know a lot about yogurts. I've been obsessed with them since I was a nipper. I said, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get too many into that fridge. There's not enough air circulation, and they're not forming properly. I've seen it before with mass production of yogurt-based products. Don't really know what else to say about that.
No.
I feel a bit weird. So hello, Otto. Look at Otto. He's properly.
What's that? Got his the hand with an eye in it.
Oh, it's the old all-seeing hand, isn't it?
Yeah. Or it's give its black spot to blind Pew.
Wouldn't go near a ski yogurt. Nah, not a chance. But I'm having trouble now because, like, after this stream, I'll be going to Supa-Dupa and I have to hold them up to the light. I've got to give them the light test, the shake test. The staff there hate me because there's about 30 of them all in the thing, and I aren't, I go through the lot of them. And sometimes
I can have natural yogurt on my diet.
Well, you should do. That's what I could show you now. I don't think the angle's probably right, but I could open my fridge. You'll see about 15 yogurts. But Dairy King, I'll accept Dairy King, but Dairy Queen that's a little bit much. Bertie Shits P says you've gone down a cul-de-sac there, Chris. Well, it gets worse. Stroke better, because I also contacted them on Facebook with a different name to say the same thing, but from a different angle. And I use different words because if you can set up a yogurt factory in Cambodia, they might know about frequency theory and they might be able to work out that it's the same person. So I got ChatGPT to write the second complaint. I haven't heard from either of them yet. I know where they are, though. I know where the factory is, and I'll tell you what, if I don't hear from them in the week, I'm going down there. I'm not even joking because I love them. When they get it right, a dob of lovely Cambodian honey that I get from the province that they pour out the hive. I wake up at in the middle of the night, for me, which is about 11 o'clock in the morning. It's just like God's come. But when they're not right, what is this? It's just like hot sour milk.
Go down there, Chris. Get your suit on. Go down there with your suit on and a hard hat, right? Or better still, one of them white trilbies you get when you work behind the counter in a supermarket. Go down and suit on one of them.
Like a health inspector. Those hats.
Just go with some fucking phone. Just march in there.
You can do it.
Yeah. And then tell them how shit it is.
I can get through the door.
Tell them you'll be back and then leave.
I'll go. The thing is, I'm actually gutted. It's my favourite food and I can't get it anymore because they're cutting corners. And they'll be the ones who suffer in the end. Greek yogurt's all right, but I really fell in love with this Cambodian one. And now it's all gone wrong. Anyway, JP says, ha 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 ha. Dangerfield is the milkmaid in the shop, testing all the milk and looking for perfect eggs. Well, at least I won't get smallpox, will I? And do you know, anyone in the comments know why I made that joke? Do you know that, Packer?
No.
Nope. Well, there you go. You don't need to. Moody Edge's dog is on natural yogurt at the moment. Hopefully sort his stomach out. Yeah, good luck with that. I hope the dog's stomach gets better. He can have 15 I've got here. I'm not eating them. Oh, God. Emma says maybe they're making it from Hugh cow milk. Well, I wouldn't mind if I got to do the milking, but, it's just John's happy, but, Satan's spunk instead of God. Yeah, that would have been better, wouldn't it? Hello, Sean. Hello. Walks in naked. About these yogurts. Amazing. Absolutely amazing balls. And look who's here. He comes, he goes. He drives, he knows. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ozmeister. Dropped a Lady Godiva. He says, when Mousecat was on the other day, his reminded me, I know what he meant. He reminded me of Cruella de Vil. I know Mousecat quite well, and I've spoken to him off a stream, a lot of times. But it was quite weird, wasn't it? It was quite a sort of I think it caught many a person out, Ozmeister. Look at his little avatar. You can see that turned into Ozmeister, can't you? I can see that, even though it's that big. Nice one, Ozmeister. Really appreciate that. I'm trying to sell the little Bitcoin I've got. No one wants it. If they had have got bought it, it went up about 5% yesterday. But then a geezer on Tom Lee, his name is, I think. He reckons they're going to 150 grand. Here's a weird thing. I'm trying to offload some Bitcoin because I'm brassic, right? And I asked the scrubs on the lifeboat, I asked a few mates, And then at the end I'd gone through the whole list of people, and I thought, I've got to ask the people I know who are actually crypto investors, which is a bit weird. It's a bit getting down. Do you know what I mean? If they know that I'm selling my crypto, that they know I'm on my arse. Now, I'm not too proud to admit that, but I really didn't want to have to. You know, do you want to buy a couple of grams of Bitcoin? I asked 3 of them, and they all got back to me. And blessed are the crypto traders. They said, get a loan, get an overdraft, borrow some money, anything but sell your Bitcoin. He said, 3 of them pretty much said the same thing. He said, at least hold on to them for 2 years, because they're about to fly. And they've been right all the way along. They have been, every time they've tipped me, they were right, you know. So there you go. That's that. Right. What else? So I've covered Bannon. It's the 4th of July this Thursday, isn't it? It's in Independence Day in America, but we've also got the English general election.
Yeah.
Do you and the missus vote, or is that not the sort of question you ask?
No, we will. Yeah, we do. I didn't last time for the general when Boris got in.
I find it a bit strange when people say, fuck voting, you don't get it, do you? It's like, oh, I do. No, I do actually. I do get it. I don't know what you're talking about. Give me an argument. Osmeister topped up by £2. My town hasn't got a reform candidate. Can you still?
Mine has. I heard him on the radio today. That's why I will be voting. Because it's Tory through and through here. And she's right up her own petticoat.
I've had Horace giving me the bad news about reform. He says that, and he's usually right about these things. He certainly knows more about party politics than I do. He said, look, Farage is just a conservative. He's just a Tory. Yeah. He always has been. And he said, you know, once he gets in, they'll revert back to the conservative. But I'm not. Actually, that's not fair, because he actually explained things a little bit better than that. However, you have to play politics to an extent, and what Farage, I think, has done to mitigate people knowing that or thinking that is the contract. Because if he was, you know, if they were to get an amount of seats that made them of value to the likes of us in Parliament, if they don't support the kinds of things they've been talking about in their contract, their next election, you can, you know.
This is the point. We've got the Tories and Labour and the Lib Dems, and we know what they say and then what they do, right? We don't know that about reform.
Exactly.
So what do? Keep making the same mistake, hoping for a different result, or vote for someone different when you don't know yet? There's every chance he'll back down on everything and do what he wants, but at least the message is then sent that actually that is what the people want, what he said.
It's a fair point.
Never mind if he didn't do it.
Hello, Ultra Mega Essex boy. I imagine you just got out of bed, have you? Or are you in there on your probiotic yogurt? I'll give you their address if you wish to complain, if it isn't up to your standards. Thank you, Osmeister, for those 2 very generous donations. Bertie Shits Peas used to put cheddar cheese, all grated and mixed with the yogurt on. Hang on. What's going on here? What kind of kitchen science is this? I used to put cheddar cheese, all grated and mixed with the yogurt and left to ferment. It gives you good bacteria, though, but you can over-ferment it. Oh, what, in prison? Or just, like, in your house? Oi, Packer, who was that fella we had on the other night? Nice bloke. His mate turned up as well. Scottish fella. What was his name?
I can't remember.
Paul, was it? Hello, Eleanor. I've still got a couple of emails to reply to you. He was talking about fighting and going to prison for fighting. And then I said, what did you get up to in prison? And he said, fighting. Come on, you must remember a couple of Scottish lads. It was just one at first, then his mate turned up. We couldn't understand the word they were saying at first. Hello, Mr. Giles. Hello, Wolfenstyle. I'm a bit worried about Keir Starmer getting in, though, I must admit. Hello, Baz.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but what can you do?
I've seen that as well, Baz. Dancing around like a lunatic, essentially. For the first time ever, he outshone Mrs. Me in it in the Madness Stakes. And that takes some doing, so fair play. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Me in It's household, like when the cameras are off and it's just them two getting on. Childhood sweethearts. I bet it's fucking madness from start to finish. I mean, I'm not one to judge. I was working earlier. I'm doing 3 people's jobs at the moment, and trust me, you can't. You just can't. So what you do is you either compromise them all or go nuts, or both, which is the option life took for me. Hang on. Can I have a 1 in the chat? If you talk to yourself, now steady on a moment. When I say talk to yourself, I don't mean like have conversations, like sit there going, Chris, what do you think? Maybe it's time to get some more water. I just mean talk, because I do it all the time.
Only when I want expert advice.
Oh, that's a rehearsed answer, that is, isn't it? Did you get that off of a lolly stick?
Yeah. You know, I do talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, I was sitting here earlier just going, oh, man. And the thing is, because you're not having to communicate, what I tend to do is slowly abstract. There was, in Frederick Jameson's book, The Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism, he describes, he uses, he's got this lovely little analogy to describe what happens to culture in late capitalist periods, which is where we are now. And he says, these aren't his exact words. He said, it's like a child when they get a phrase or an idiom that they've heard, and they say it again and again and just keep repeating it until it becomes an incomprehensible incantation. So that's pretty much what I do. So to give you an example, and I'm making this up, but it's the kind of thing I do. I was working on a bit of software called Clavio earlier, and it said, I was writing the subject line for an email, and it said, would you like to try our new AI, like every bit of software I use says. So I put in the subject line, and it uses AI to optimize it based on the other millions of people who use Clavio to get more people to open the email based on the words you're using. And I didn't want to do that because I'm pretty good at writing subject lines. I get good open and click rates. And I read it, I went, and they're all calling them co-pilots. You must have heard that, all of you. You must have heard co-pilot. There's a co-pilot here, there's a co-pilot there, and it's just some usually open AI sort of chat GPT sort of powered AI.
No, he's your buddy. He's got your back. He's your co-pilot.
Yeah, that's absolutely how they're trying to sell it. And I was like, no, I don't want your AI co-pilot. And then I'm sort of like, your AI co-pilot, as if it was like like we're in a fighter jet together. And then it was like AI co-pilot. But I'm now on a different page doing something else, but I'm still saying it. But it slowly starts morphing, and then I'm sort of going, AI co-pilot, mission of the co-pilot. This is AI co-pilot, reading you loud and clear. AI co-pilot. And then I just think, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you doing any work? You're just, because you can't think about that and do something else. Yeah. Let me know in the chat if you do that sort of behavior. Not because it's interesting, because I just want to have a little madness check. Why Naughty G has grifted up with 150 NT. What is NT? I don't know how wild and excited to be, but I'm always happy. It's been a while. I feel guilty that I haven't donated in a while. You never have to feel guilty. No one ever has to feel guilty for not donating. But that's nice that you said that, and you're about to explain why. Considering how much I like your channel and the fact I can afford to donate. Well, in that case, yes. Look, a little Packer trying to look over the wall there. Look at him. Look, he went, go on. Go on, do the Chad. Thank you, mate. That's Machano Kufrishan RCCC. I'm going to assume that 150 NT dollars is a barrel load because it gets me heart pumping. And man, this stream's about to take an incredible turn. But joking aside, enjoy the channel. Never feel guilty. I wouldn't want to be party to people feeling guilty. A little bit of me does, though. I'll also admit that. Actually, quite a big bit of me. I think the majority of me would prefer it if everyone thought like that. Switcheroony. Thank you very much. Dawn Browning, what? You just got out of bed, have you? Going to plant your turnips. Morning, beautifuls. I literally have to be up at the crack of dawn. Not that dawn, though, because that would be ridiculous. Today, the crack of dawn, I literally have to be up at the crack of dawn today to hose the frost off the veggies before the sun hits them. So hang on a minute, DB. So thank you very much for that donation. Thank you to Naughty G. Let me just work this out. So has Australia, the part you're in, has it got that weird desert? What do they call it? What's the word? Packer's not going to know it. Paradox.
No.
Harry. Arid. No. You see, you should have taken my expert advice. It's the desert paradox. It's not a paradox at all. It's just basic how the weather works. But I remember as a young man, I'm talking more like an old child. Is there such a thing as an old child? In a world of lady boys and there is an old child, is there?
Yeah.
Use it in a
sentence. Or his Scalextrics.
Use it in a sentence without looking like a twerp.
The old child played with his Scalextrics. I don't say anything without looking like a twerp.
I'm going to see what the twerpometer says.
Yeah.
Very twerpy is that way, right? That way. Oh no. Oh, last minute pullback. No, you're all right. It was all right. The old child. You're the old child from now on. So, like, I remember when I was an old child finding out that, like, the Sahara Desert is, like, ice cold at night. I know everyone knows that now because of the likes of the internet and Bear Grylls. But, you know, you think the desert, you think, oh, that's hot. But when the sun goes down, ooh. Amazing. Hang on, Davy John has dropped in 199 and he's just outright had all the life of the party and gone, all right, people. All right, Davy John.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Very all right. It's all going well. Right. It's now 3 o'clock in the morning. What have I got to do? So, yeah, just don't forget, if you're new here, let me just look at the comments. And is there? Hello, Mr. Bontoft. Spoiled ballots are counted. Don't lose your vote. Yeah, I'm with you, Nigel. I think Teflon Guan, no party works for me, so no vote for any. No tactical voting, Teflon Guan. Spanish Chicken, you donated on that on my backer. Can you
Legend.
identify the buy me a coffee?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Well, yeah, you donated on that over. I better open that up actually, and entropy. I should open that up really. Whoops. Yeah, thank you for that, Spanish Chicken. That was very kind of you, because that's also a bit of social proof. People donating over on the old Substack, and you get a video reply now, which is a pain in the ass for me. It says you've got 30 seconds to make a video, and I try and keep it under 30 seconds. And we've got to have a look at a bit of that. I try and keep it under 30 seconds, and then it says, nah, it's got to be less than 30 megabytes. And that's about 5 seconds. So I don't know who's zooming who. Who's zooming who in that instance, Paco? Do you think? Sorry, I know I'm mumbling, people, but I
can't remember who it was. Who sung Who's Zooming Who?
Who's zooming who? Think about the good times. Who's zooming who? Whoa, I don't know. Pags will know, although maybe not actually with that one. I'm just sorting out entropy for what it's worth. I did put the link in. There you go. Right, that's done. Right, we're back. I'm back. But thank you, Spanish Chicken, for that. If I didn't give you a video reply, I'll do one later. Let's see if Pags actually knows. I can't imagine he will, but he says it's Kellogg's. They are Aretha Franklin. Dirk Bogard thinks it's alarming he knows the lyrics to the worst song ever by Aretha Franklin. Do you know what I think the worst pop song ever is? And I mean this. For me, I just despise everything about it. The musical structure, the lyrics, what it's meant to be about. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. And then it sort of goes into that. And corporation games. And that mood. The party. We built this city. Can't stand it. Really,
it's like some awful theme tune from some happy 80s American sitcom shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Basil 40, Lady Godiva, straight there. Just put a bet on Reform to win 7 or more seats. I think they'll do that. What were the odds? I think they'll get in double figures in seats and 20.
I don't know.
And
ask the policeman, apparently.
What?
If you want to know what to bet on, you ask a policeman. Really? A load of them got done. Yeah, there's a load of them got caught betting on when the election was going to be held. There's a few MPs got done, and a load of coppers that all worked in and around number 10. And they all seem to suddenly want to put a bet on when the election was going to be.
Because obviously they what you mean, sort of like the coppers that hang outside of 10 Downing Street and sort of
ridiculous like that, yeah.
It's kind of like Basil. Thanks for that donation. He wants to know what we think will happen. I mean, the scrubs in general. I'll tell you what I think. But he's got 2-1. That ain't bad at all, is it? For 7 votes, I reckon you've doubled your money. I mean, I don't bet online because I know what will happen. I'll get addicted. That's what happened with those altcoins. It was all very well done the other day saying that I was making a ton of money on them. I wasn't making a ton of money, but I was building up. I was earning money. But you have to sit watching them all night. And you've got, it's like, I just thought, right, stop this. This is gambling. And one of the worst things that can happen to you when you're skint is that you start doing well gambling, because then you just think, you know what? If I just get one big one, if I just put $5,000 on that altcoin and it goes up 40%, do you know what I mean? And that's when you realise why William Hill is a multi-billion-dollar company, and I'm scratching around at 3 o'clock in the morning streaming. 2-1's good going though. In answer to your question, Baz, I think, hello Barney, that's what I think is going to happen as well. I think they're going to get 9 to 15 seats, but that will be due to a lack of that will also partially be due to them not standing in a load of places, but loads of votes. And for me, that's really interesting to have a Labour government, but like a national barometer showing that the country is moving right. That's funny as fuck for me, because the Labour Party will be like, hang on, we're communists, and you know the right have just cleaned up, and that is a massive turnout to get loads. I haven't actually got the numbers, but yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Loads of votes and sort of 9 to 12 seats, but 7's amazing. 2-1 on 7. That's got to be worth a punt. I'm not encouraging anyone to gamble. Excuse me. Right, let's. Did anyone see when Dr. Jill Biden? You wouldn't have her give you a. What's that one? I can't remember what it's called.
Prostate exam.
A massage, please. I've never had an exam. I didn't think she was examining it. She was just trying to get me out of there earlier to earn her money in half the time, and it worked. Well, I won't ask you at the moment, but mate, when you have a professional give that a tickle, they don't even move it. They just hold it and it just blows. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? It's magic. Like that bloke who died. He walked out of there like he just got off horse. He went, I waited all my life for that. And I was a bit sad for him. I was thinking, well, it's been there for 10 years. I've been having 2 a year. Apparently it's quite healthy for you as well. Apparently it clears out, dare I say it, old sperm. I mean, I haven't had much sperm. My sperm don't. I think I've talked enough about sperm, to be honest with you. What was I going to say? Are you telling me to? I've got things to do. So yeah. Oh geez, when this letter to my dead dad #2 goes up, please read it. It's very fun. I put a lot of work into it. It's quite dark in places, but it will make you laugh and get a comment. So when these agents look at those two together, because what I might be able to get them to do is all the work: editing, copy editing, line editing, proofreading, cover illustration, and getting it in the bookshops. But I'm not actually being published by them. That might be I think they call it hybrid publishing. Lars might know about it. I mean, he's half male and half female. That's hybrid, isn't it? Otto reckons his sperms have got beards now. Oh, sorry, Dawn. I know it's early. Yeah, I really should go to bed, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not. It's been a while since the Scrubs have been together, and I think we've got a community, and it needs to commune. Is that right? Is commune a verb? Would you like to?
Yeah.
Would you like? You shook your head and went, yeah. Would you like to commune with me? I went out, communed a bit.
Yeah.
I suppose anything can be a verb, really, if you say it is.
These days, anything can be anything if someone says it is. I think that's the rule.
In a way, though, that's been the world since it began. Right, we're going to talk a little bit about Dr. Jill Biden. Thank you for the last flurry of super chats. That's very kind of you. I will check the Buy Me a Future Have I already got that open?
Right. Is he talking to him like he's a 5-year-old at his birthday party?
So, yeah, I mean, we talked about it the other day, didn't we? Trump just smashed it. Biden was... Yeah, what I can't believe is that all the left-wing press, MSNBC, CNN, the usual suspects, they haven't tried to pretend. They haven't tried to spin it. They're like, it was shocking. I mean, he's an old man with dementia. And we've known that for years, right?
Yeah.
Do they... I was sort of like, you actually aren't clever people trying to propagandize. You believe the bullshit.
He was an old man. He was an old man with dementia when he was hiding in his basement campaigning against Trump.
Excuse me about the cough. I mean, the thing is, we all knew that, and it made me think that they didn't. They actually bought it. And it's like, mate, you've seen him over the last few years on any performance on telly. What way am I going? And like, his guards sort of turning him the other way and all that nonsense.
Yeah, but it was all dog-faced pony soldier or whatever he was on about once.
Stuff and
yeah.
I had little white hairs on my legs and corn pop used to crawl up them at the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So no surprise to any of us. There was that lovely line by Trump when he was asked to answer what Biden had said, and he said, I don't really know what he was going on about at the end of that sentence, and I really don't think he did either. But I thought Trump done the right thing because it would have been bad optics to just take the piss out of a spas in that situation. But later that night, Jill Biden, with the cameras there, she's got him standing on stage, like not knowing what planet he's on, just sort of like looking around, wondering who's going to wipe his ass because it's already on its way out. And she goes, Joe, you won. And he sort of goes, and all the audience clap. What, you won that debate? What? And then she says to him, and I shit you not, then she says to him, you answered all the questions.
Like he passed some test.
You say that to like a 3-year-old who's who's just done like a maths test, 2 + 1.
Got his spellings.
Jennifer, you answered all the questions. You might have only got 1 out of 20 right, but you certainly answered them all. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and then she had to drag him down 3 steps because he couldn't make it on his own.
Well, I looked at that bit of video a few times, and I think it was actually just a sort of a slope, one of those gripped slopes. But that threw him. I'm not sure. It might have just been the resolution.
Think back to the Trump stumble on a slope on a wet day when he had to hold the handrail. Do you remember that about 6 years ago? Well, Trump was somewhere doing something, and he was walking down off a stage down a slope, and there was a handrail, and it was wet, and he probably had leather shoes on or whatever, I don't know, but he was holding the handrail, looking ever so slightly, unsure on his feet for a couple of moments, right? And the press went, oh, see, doddery old fart.
Just someone taking care not to slip on the wet surface.
Yeah, and back then, right, Trump was unfit to be president because he was a doddery old fart. He needed to take a mental aptitude test, which he did. He took it and went, there you go, fine.
You're right. I remember that bit. Yeah, that rings a bell.
It all comes from all that time.
Pag says now try it without the stabilizers, Joe.
Yeah, imagine. Cheers,
Pag.
Imagine the power that Joe Biden wields when he's across the table from Putin.
Well,
the mental power he wields in that room.
Joking aside, though, this has got to be a security risk, hasn't it?
No, he don't know now. He don't tie his own shoelaces, does he? He don't do anything.
Yeah, but hang on. People with dementia, and this is going on experience, they get, and you saw him on that stage when he was telling Trump, I've got my golf handicap down to 6. And he said that because that's important. That's what I want to know. Inflation, public spending, southern border, golf handicaps, standard sort of political discourse. But he was looking at Trump like a hateful, like a demon. He squinted his eyes. I just thought that's what people, because they get very frightened. Well, you work among these people, and it's mainly the men with it. The women get a little bit more sad and they tend to cry because they let it out. But bitter old men tend to get spiteful, and that's what he looked like. He looked spiteful, whereas Trump was in a position to actually, he could have just, he didn't need to do anything. Anyway, I haven't watched this, but we can trust Mark Dice. And because I've been gabbing for 60 minutes, I want to give the old nodules a break. Thank you, Pags, for that donation. Let's check out a bit of Mark Dice, because he always wins. I won't play the old video because it's his content and not mine. But it's called Let's Meet the New Joe Biden, which should be quite amusing. Oh, hang on. Before we get there, before we get to old Meet the New Biden, hang on. I don't want your silly. Go away off the screen. How do I get rid of that? Oh, that's so. Oh, hey. All right. So there's an organisation called BET. It stands for Black Entertainment Television. They're a production company. They make entertainment for television for black people. They're a segregated cultural. I mean, can you imagine white entertainment television? I mean, it would be wet, which is not so good, but you just couldn't get away with it. No, we make culture for white people. It's mad. It's so fucked. And this organisation BET.
Chris, we do make culture for white people. That's what upsets them.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Not explicitly.
No.
They had this big event last night, or it might have been a couple of nights ago, but I think it was last night. And it's sort of an awards ceremony for BET. Best leading actress in this black people only thing, and best rapper, probably. And then they done this thing, like a special thing, a memorial, like lifetime achievement memorial. And then it went up on the huge screen on stage, OJ Simpson, NFL star. And even at the BET Awards, it didn't go down too well. Like it sort of did when they realised that they better play the game. But if you can find it, there's a definite sort of, what about the other. He released a book called If. And it's a book that he wrote about what he would have done if he had killed those people he did kill.
This is how I did it. Would have done it. Yeah,
that's the mad thing. He's been interviewed about that book, and when the interviewer's talking to him, he can't keep hold of his tenses and his pronouns, and so he keeps saying things like, "Well, I just picked up the knife, and what I would do," and hang on a minute, you just said, oh man. Since that trial, there's been, I think, 3 of the black jury have said on camera, you can find these clips on YouTube, that you haven't got to go to the Internet Archive or 4chan, they're on YouTube. One of them, she says, we were going to find him innocent from the first day. And she says it. She says, because we just wanted a black person to be found innocent. And another woman is being interviewed, and she said, we knew he was guilty, but we wanted to prove that we had some power in the black community. Everyone knows he done it, right? And so there's this big picture of OJ Simpson on this big screen, NFL player memorial, and Devon Tracy on Twitter put, I'll just fix that for you. and he's got the same picture, and it says OJ Simpson killed 2 humans. Anyway, on that lovely note, I mean, I think that's absurd. You know, it's like on the white entertainment television. Here we go. What was his name? That doctor who was fucking morphining everyone out there into
Oh, Chipman.
Yeah, Harold Chipman, doctor. And we all were like, he loved his community, you know, put them out of their misery, the poor old folk. I say old, some of them were like younger than me. Literally, one of them was 51, I think. Anyway, let's check out and see what old Mark Dice. You rarely go wrong with a bit of dice. Not Dice Clay, that's ridiculous. He is a weird old fella, Dice Clay, though. Anyway, let's check this out. Why is it not working? Here we go.
A surprise primetime address to the nation. No, not announcing that he was suspending his campaign and stepping down because he's obviously mentally incapacitated and incompetent. Not even mentioning the elephant in the room, his horrifying debate performance last week that has the Democrat Party in shambles. Instead, he decided to come out and complain briefly about the Supreme Court ruling yesterday that said presidents have presumptive immunity for any official acts that they engage in while in office and don't have immunity for any personal acts or non-official acts that they conduct.
So, yeah, so that's a win for the Republicans. Also, Trump won the January 6th lark. That has been ruled. The Supreme Court has said that wasn't an insurrection. There was collusion and the deleting of videos and all sorts of things. And all those people who've been in prison for 4 or 5 years now, a few suicides as well. They're going to be looking for suing and reparations. But, you know, if you're dead, it's a little bit too late. So, yeah, a couple of big losses for the Democrats this week. But it looks like Joe is going to pretend the debate never happened and just complain about that. Here we go. Well, not that, the other ruling. But hang on now. Remind me about the 25th Amendment, if you can, in a minute, Packer. Here we go.
During their presidency, before or after. A total common sense ruling, but it slows down the persecution of President Trump with Jack Smith's case. And so if there's going to be another kangaroo court criminal trial, it's not going to happen most likely until next year. His statement was so brief, if you blinked, you would have missed it. So let's take a look.
Good evening.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. That's got to be a joke. That's got to be a joke. We'll watch it again anyway because it was excellent. I reckon that's a joke.
Blinked, you would have missed it. So let's take a look.
Good evening.
Okay, so that was a meme, or as CNN will say, a cheap fake, a deceptively edited video to try to make old Joe look bad. But the speech was so inconsequential that most of the major networks did not interrupt their regularly scheduled program to carry it. And it was a grand total of 4 minutes long. And with such a brief statement, you may be wondering if he spent the rest of the evening answering questions from the media about...
People, can you tell me, can you hear... Is there an echo when I play this? Because I don't want to keep having to turn my mic on and off. Can you just hear Mark Dice speaking once here?
4 minutes long. And with such a brief statement, you may be wondering if he spent the rest of the evening answering questions from the media.
So was that audio all right, that last little bit there? That's what Mumford said to me today, Otto, funnily enough. Nice one, JP. We can let it roll then. If it does start going bad, let me know.
Media about the strange situation that our country finds ourselves in with a president who can't even finish a sentence. And of course, he did not. He turned around and walked away as usual, like a coward.
What makes you so confident you should be the president?
He never answers questions, does he? What? I've never seen this. I mean, the first time I got into US politics was Reagan. And I've never seen a president not take questions after they give some kind of speech, or when they say something, you have to answer questions. He just sort of spins on his heels, and I reckon there's like some sort of, like magic thread that you can't see, that they just yank on it.
He's actually on one of them little hoovers that finds its own way around.
They programmed it. He's standing on top of it. It goes up to the lectern, gives him enough time to stay there, and just turns him around. Good call, Picard.
Absolutely pathetic. But during the 4-minute teleprompter read, he had another Ron Burgundy moment. Wait for it.
I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
End of quote. I am Ron Burgundy. His entire 4-minute speech was nonsense and fear-mongering as usual, and was topped off with this hilarious lie.
I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years.
No, you won't. You haven't, sir. You're on video numerous times bragging about how you have violated the Supreme Court rulings by giving U.S. tax dollars away in order to try to buy votes by having the government pay off student loans.
The Supreme Court of the United States blocked me, but they didn't stop me.
The Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me.
You didn't relieve student debt. You tried to buy their votes and thus increase the inflation problem in the meantime.
Stop promoting your...
Isn't that
in
mad?
that video you just showed, the one of the speech that nobody watched, he's oranged up.
Hang on, the speech that nobody watched.
Yeah, the 4-minute one, that the hello, and he just spun around and left again. That speech, he looks orange. He looks like they've tanned him up since the other night.
They've given him a bit of the Trump.
Yeah,
I can see what you mean. It's hard for me to see because I've got this glaring light making me look handsome. Did you hear that though? Who brags about breaking the law? The Supreme Court ruled against me, but I done it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. You shouldn't be president. That's an impeachment right there. But
no, it's the other guy. The other guy that we're going to spend 6 years trying to find something that he fucking did wrong somewhere, so we can take it to court and prove that he's threatening democracy.
They failed so many times, haven't they? It's ridiculous. And that Jack Smith, I can't handle.
Yeah.
But also, do you remember? He also on camera said, when he went out to the Ukraine, there was some bloke investigating Hunter, and he said, you get rid of that investigator or I ain't giving you any money.
Prosecutor, the chief prosecutor. Wasn't just some investigator, the chief prosecutor.
Yeah, and he said they soon got rid of him.
Yeah, it's on film.
Okay, you just bribed it's just like, okay, it's not. I think Trump derangement syndrome has really just shattered some brains all over the place. Right, so this is what I want to just talk about briefly. Talking to Mumford earlier, Bally G himself, and he was saying to me about the 25th Amendment, and he said it's a hot take. So listen to this. Because he can't run for this election. That's just jokes. So my worries, I was thinking, well, Hillary's released a book recently. She's been sticking her head above the parapet, but you can't imagine Hillary Clinton getting the president's job. And how would she? It's not like the English system where you just go, give it to Theresa May. She'll do it. She can fuck the country up. Or Sunak, who said, I don't want to be a war prime minister. I'm out of here. See, I've made enough money for me and the friends and countrymen, by the way. But apparently there's a way in via the 25th Amendment. And what you do, you replace the vice president. So you get Big Mike to be vice president.
Oh,
and then it's all sitting there for you because, well,
how do you replace the vice president, though?
Oh, you can do that. You can do it. I got it up. I'll tell you how you do it. Well, it'll be a bit boring to go into the details, but people, if you go into Chat GPT and say how do you legally replace the vice president in the United States, it tells you there's 3 or 4 ways of doing it, and they're all quite simple. You can just say things like incompetence, health. She can just say, I've got fibromyalgia. One of those homemade diseases. I've got ADHD. Anything out of the DSM, essentially, that there's no biological markers for. So it's not like you can test her.
She's got word salad.
She's got giggling hyena syndrome. So then Big Mike is vice president, and then the 25th Amendment basically says, words to the effect of, if the president is incapable through sickness, health, etc., Joe Biden, essentially, the vice president can then take that role. And I think if they choose to take, they can't run him again. The Dems can't run him. It's just a joke. I reckon if Michelle Big Mike Obama gets the presidency to run, I reckon she wins as well.
See, I think they planned it. I think they deliberately asked for this this debate this early so they could get him out of the way sooner.
You've got to think that it's got to be an option because they all knew what would happen. And again, none of the traditional leftist media or the Democrat media tried to spin it. Immediately it was like he's incompetent and he can't be our president. So that would make sense. And then you've got this little 25th Amendment sort of loophole to replace him by whoever you want, really. And then Obama, who's likely been pulling Biden's strings for the whole of this presidency anyway.
It's Obama and the Clintons, isn't it? They're all doing it.
His husband then gets to be president.
Yeah.
She'll get all the black vote, certainly the black, not all of it, #not all. Certainly black women who don't usually vote, they've got a very low black women turnout. Oh, Big Mike, yeah, we'll show those whiteys. And probably a lot of Latinos as well. And then it's four more years of Obama on top of the 16 we've had. Little break for Trump in the middle there. Oh, Lord. Otto sends a terrible prediction. I can see Khan becoming prime minister. He's too small. He's only that big. Have you ever seen him in person? When he interviews someone, the other person has to be about 100 meters away so they look the same height. Yeah, he's that big, Sadiq Khan, 4.5 inches. The size of a slightly under-excited penis. It's a strange thing to see, I assure you. A super chat has come in from...
And the same look about him when you think about it.
Khan's got the same look as who?
Slightly unexcited penis.
Good call. Osmeister drops a Lady Godiva. Do you ever go to the seaside in Cambodia? The beaches and sea look incredible. Well, I used to go, thanks for the donation, Osmeister. I used to go to Sihanoukville, which was it was paradise. White sand beaches that went on forever, palm trees, a turquoise sea that you could walk out about a mile because it didn't get deep. You could walk out about a mile and it was at thigh height, clear as day, tropical fish everywhere. Go to YouTube and type in what happened to Sihanoukville. suddenly I've got to be a little bit careful because I'm a guest in this country. Well, I'll leave that up to you because I don't want to get in trouble. I am a guest here. But the Chinese built a lot of casinos there, chucked loads of Cambodians out. You know, it was a real lovely place. There was not a lot of tarmac about, loads of little independent cafes that had been there 20, 30 years, loads of sort of backpackers and hippies. You could go down there, a couple of jazz cigarettes, you know, cold run on the beach and have a nice little swim about. Just, you know, that's why I started coming to Cambodia, to go to Sihanoukville. You know, I'd only ever stayed in Phnom Penh. I'd get off the plane in Phnom Penh, spend a night here, and then get the coach down to Sihanoukville, 6 hours. And when I decided to move here, a friend of mine had built a hotel. It was his life's ambition. Well, since he became an adult. When he was 5, he didn't want to build a hotel in Sihanoukville. But he wanted to build like a 4-star hotel in Sihanoukville. And he did it. He got a load of angel investors, built this hotel. It was a bustling, beautiful, amazing hotel. Every year, a couple of times, I'd ring him up, you know, when I was a bit flush. I'm coming out to Cambodia for holiday. You got a room for me? He'd be like, yeah, no problem. What are your dates? I'd turn up and have me a load of vape juices already. And just wonderful. Rooms were like £8 a night. And amazing. Free tuk-tuk service. And you could just go down the beach, spend the whole day there. And I'd go there all the time. Finally decide to move to Cambodia. I send him an email. I think I'm going to give him a nice surprise. I said, right, Tommy boy, I'm moving out to Cambodia. Can you do me a room at your hotel for a couple of months? So I've got a bit of time to look around and find a flat. And when he sent me an email back about 10 minutes later, he went, it's over. He said, Sihanoukville's finished, mate. He said, I've sold the hotel. And that was his dream. He loved that. He absolutely loved that place. And when he said that, I thought, wow, something. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a video of it.
Otto, you're right. Money fucks everything up.
Right. When I first went to Sihanoukville, you could see for miles because there was hardly any high-rise buildings. It was a tiny little seaside sort of town, right? Check this out. Check this video out. Not only did they build loads of casinos, I don't mean 5 or 6, I'm talking hundreds, but there was no infrastructure. So things like sewage and that all just got blocked up and started climbing out the drains. People just left rubbish everywhere. There was no one to clean it up. The Cambodians were just sort of, no, go on, fuck off. This is ours now. The Chinese used the casinos. The Chinese built them. About 10, 20 people died building them. And then it just become deserted. And now it's like a ghost town. I'll show you some footage. I haven't seen this video. I just typed in Sihanoukville now. And let me show you. Right, I'll type Sihanoukville beaches into Google so that you can get an idea of what they used to be like, because these are obviously old photos. So have a look at this. So when you ask me, Osmeister, do I ever go to the seaside? I spent 10 years because I was going to Thailand for the first 5. I used to mix and match in the end. But once I discovered Sihanoukville, have a look at some of these places. I'll make the occasional one a bit bigger. I'll get rid of me and Packer so that they're a bit larger. Hang on. So Otres Beach was just incredible. I mean, look at this little hideaway here. Yeah? Just a little bar on the edge there. A few, parasols. Got a bit of that action. Look at that. And I'll tell you now, that's not Photoshop. That's what it looked like. You know, I've got photos in my camera of like these kinds of nights out. Yeah, have a look at this. I know exactly where that is. Been there. Used to get a boat. Took 5 minutes to get there off the main drag. Look at that.
When you got there, you got a free bounty off a bird with a grass skirt on.
It would have been better if you didn't say grass.
Yeah, probably.
You know, you still the point was made. And
I've always had that stutter.
Look at that. Look. Have you always had a stutter?
No, I've never had a stutter.
So you get the idea. You get the idea, right? That's what it was like. I've actually sat in that very chair there. Not joking. That's on Otres Beach. Right. Now let's have a look at this video. All I typed into YouTube was Sihanoukville now. Check this out. Here we go.
Warning. In this episode, I'm going to show you what Sihanoukville, Cambodia looks like. Welcome to another episode of Tag Along with Choi. We are in Sihanoukville.
Right, I don't want to see you just on there. I want you to take me to I want you to see. I mean, none of that concrete was there. I don't know what all that is.
Also, because I kind of got the feeling that this place lost its soul.
Yeah.
It lost its soul to the businessmen of China.
I can't really play that.
Joined us as well to have our Cambodia trip together for a little bit.
There was none of that there. It just wasn't built up like that. I mean, I know it's not a museum here, but they absolutely screwed it. Yeah, this is all the bits that done me. This day,
Independent Beach, one of the nicer beaches here in Sihanoukville. We're showing you around at Victoria Hill. This area is...
They're all empty, those buildings that you're looking at there. I'll take it back a bit. Look at these buildings.
Showing you around at Victoria Hill. This area...
They're all empty.
Is also under construction.
Is it under...
They're not under construction. They've been like that for about 6 years.
construction though?
You mean like
all empty?
If they're still working on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that look like it's still under construction? What they drive all the cranes and all the heavy plant away at night?
Oh, it seems like some of it has been picked up already. A lot of things have been left behind when China went on lockdown. A lot of Chinese investors stopped investing in these buildings. Last night when Ilona and I had a...
I mean, I didn't find the worst video, and I don't really want to watch any Sihanoukville porn, but yeah. So in answer to that, there are some still there, like
it's very depressing, all that naked concrete, isn't it?
What?
That concrete, that naked concrete, it's very depressing.
Yeah,
the skeletons of them buildings,
and it never used to be there. That's what's so sad about it. It was just beautiful. It was just, you felt like you were in paradise. And loads of little independent bars, people who'd been there like 30 years. They came there when no foreigners came to Cambodia, and just set up. And they thought, we can turn this into Las Vegas. But the mad thing is, they took something that was already like it. I don't want to say too much. It's their country. I think in fairness, the Chinese and a bit of COVID, I'm having to, I've got to be really careful. But I love this country. So, but if you have a look around on the internet, you'll sort of see why. However, who's the Swedish German fella who don't come around here anymore?
Pax Max.
Yeah, Pax Max went to Koh Rong, and there's a load of islands, Osmeister, just off of Sihanoukville. So you have to go through Sihanoukville, but then you get a boat to the islands, and the islands are absolutely beautiful, right? Koh Rong is beautiful. And so I'm thinking, okay, and there's a few of these different islands. But then someone tells me they're building a airport or something on Koh Rong. And Koh Rong's like this idyllic island in the middle of the sea. What? I suppose they think that the rich are going to land their helicopters and their little Cessnas or what have you down there. There are some other lovely beaches, and also there's some absolutely gorgeous wildlife parks where you can go trekking and mountaineering and all that sort of stuff. So that's the long answer. The short answer is no. No. I mean, if I really wanted to go to the beach, I'd jump in an aeroplane and go to it's actually pronounced Koh Samui, but the English call it Koh Samui, in Thailand, because Koh Samui is gorgeous. I mean, Chirang Beach is a bit, but you know, after a few beers and a couple of disco biscuits, you could be in Tesco's and having a laugh. But it's a good question. It's a good question. I'm sure I made a video once in Snoopville. When I say sure, I mean I'm guessing. Right, people, it's 4:45. I've done an hour and a half. I'm going to have to call it a day because I've got to get to Supa-Dupa. Packer.
Yeah. I see. It's Mrs. Meany's birthday today.
Put an HB in the chat for Mrs. Meany. 50 years old. Nice one. Happy birthday, Mrs. Meany. Amazing. Hello, dinosaur trees. David John said, I went to Samui, but quite a lot of whores, but I guess that doesn't bother you. No, it's not something that upsets me, really.
Horse.
What did you say? Horse. There's quite a lot of whores all over the world. I suppose it's just a question of, you know, knowing what to look for. But with Samui, if you avoid Chirang Beach and go around the other side, which I think is called Lamai and Lamai Beach, they do some fantastic heroin. I mean, you'll have a great night out there. Right. That tickled me. I don't know why. Sometimes you just got to have a little laugh and talk to yourself. And a little bit of a party in your mind, a little party in your brain, a little party on your own, a little bit of sausage meat and a flan. I like sausage meat and a flan. Some kind of ham sandwich. I don't like mustard. I like mayonnaise. I do put some turmeric in it, and it looks like mustard.
Is that what you do?
But it is still essentially mayonnaise. Sorry, people. Right. And we can stop that there, and we can go like that, and we can go like that, and we can stop that. Packer, thank you very much for joining me. I'm sorry it's been only an hour and a half, people, but for the first time ever, I'm sticking to it because I want to get this story finished. It won't get finished tonight because I'll be hanging around in Supa-Dupa for an hour because at this time of night, it's just Bird City up there. And now I can speak a Delingo. They think it's proper cute because they say I sound like a little boy. And I say, I'll show you my little boy in a minute, you dirty bitch. So, yeah. But when you do see it, please read it and leave a comment. You really will be helping me. You might be helping me get my novel published. Not published, but all the boring stuff that I can't be asked to do. So, yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Packer. Can we have a P in the chat for Packer, please? Mrs. Me in it is 55. There you go. Packer, nice one, son.
Oh, which way? That way.
That's the only reason I'll do it. Look after yourself, mate. I'll kick you out. Nice one, mate. Always appreciated. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure and a privilege, people. I want to thank everyone who donated. It's I don't want to keep going on about it, but it means the world at the moment. It always has done, but you know, it's always relative. And I'd like to thank my moderators who ain't here, or maybe they're lurking. And I'm going to play a bit of Bally G. Last of all, and strangely most of all, I want to thank all of you lot who come here and make it what it is. You know, to be able to do a stream at a different time of day on a different night here and there with nothing to say. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And you lot are great. You engage, you're funny, you make me laugh, you make each other laugh. It's a great community and I love it. So bless you all. Here's a bit of a Bally G with Cold Hard Steel. See you later, Emma. See you later, everyone. You know I'll be back after the tune, but I will be putting your messages on the screen while we play the tune. Let me get rid of my head. Oh, hello. What? Oh, bollocks. Hi. How many times have I done it? And I still don't know how to do it. All right, press that. Press that. Oh, have I fucked it up again? No, I haven't. Right. Move that along. Press that. There might be a little bit of silence, but it will start. Happy birthday, Mrs. Minute. Ta-ta.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good.
Yes, David.
Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that deafening drone. But you realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Feel the dawn of your final day.
Cheers,
Feel
Picard.
the fear and go anyway. Get a ride in that big black plane. Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Oi, they've all gone. They've all gone. I've done the lot. And they were much appreciated. Thank you, birthday girl.
Do whatever they tell you to. Tell yourself it ain't really you. But when the slaughtering has begun, you'll be murdering someone's son.
No brand.
You realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord.
I'll tell you in a minute, Anglo. I've got some good news on that. Nice one for the donation. Wow. Right. for those who are still here, nice one, Anglo. Nice one for those donations that come through while I was playing the music. Mumford's coming to Cambodia for 2 weeks. Well, he's coming to the pharmacy. So I wouldn't put it past him to agree to stream live in a chair there. I'm just relaxing. Emma. It's just relaxing. That's all I'm doing. There you go. So yeah, you're likely, and if when you see me and Mumford together, he'll be off his nut, and I'll probably I'll probably join him on the sly, and that could easily be a 4-hour stream because, well, he's my best mate, isn't he? And we get a little bit competitive, and you know that could be the stream of the century. If you like a bit of Mumford and you like a bit of Scrubbism, that will almost certainly happen. So yeah, looking forward to that. Nice one on the reminder. Look after yourselves, people. Supa-Dupa is calling. I'm just relaxing before I go to the supermarket. Andy Mack drops a $1.99. Thank you, Andy. Glass is loving it. In the broken chair. I'll give Mumford the one. In 4 hours, they'll just be like gouching over the edge of it. Amazing. Thank you, Andy. Right, I've got to go. See, look, I love streaming. I could just carry on, but I've got to carry on up the Supa-Dupa. So it's going to have to be a Hoyt. Hoyt! Ta!